Okay, so let's talk about July 19th. Now, you may have been hearing about this date already. It has been all over the social medias because there is quite an astrological alignment happening on this day. And it's pretty big. So even though it's already out there, I want to talk about it because I think I'm looking at it from a couple of different angles. And I'm going to add some new information that I discovered as I was researching and somewhat unrelated topic, but nothing is truly unrelated, right? Everything is interconnected. So let's get into it. July 19th, we see a cosmic basket forming in the fire and air signs. And this is happening largely with the outer planets. And this is it's a big deal because this doesn't happen that often, particularly after all of the outer planets have just moved into new signs. So we saw Pluto and Uranus, Saturn, Neptune all shift into air and fire signs over the past bit, in particular this year. And then now this cosmic basket is forming after that just happened. And with Jupiter and Mars moving into fire and air also now in this month. So it's a big deal. What does this mean? Okay, so the basket is an astrological shape that takes form through sextiles and trines between planets. And these are aspects that are harmonious. They flow well together. These are opportunities to use this energy in a beneficial kind of way. This is a good portal opening up where we can really use this energy to manifest our destiny. And there's basically a choice being presented to humanity right now around what do we want the future, the new earth to look like? And this is a point where we're able to really harness that energy. And so what we have is Uranus in Gemini. We have Neptune in Aries, Pluto in Aquarius, and Jupiter in Leo, all at 4 degrees in these signs, forming a basket between themselves and this energy. And what will happen as well, so these are basically 4 points at 4 degrees, creating one part of, or a side of a 6-pointed star. So when the moon moves into Libra, that will be the 5th point of the 6-sided star. And then if anyone you know or yourself has a planet or a point, an astrological point at 4 degrees Sagittarius, that'll be the 6th point of the 6-sided star in the astrological wheel. And why is this significant? Okay, we'll talk about this. So first of all, this doesn't happen all the time. And like I said, these energies are going to be working harmoniously together. But let's think about these elements of fire and air, first of all. So air fans the flames. Fire needs oxygen in order to burn. And the more oxygen, the stronger the flames, the more power. And fire is alchemy. Fire transforms, transmutes. Think of the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? This is a very powerful energy, and it is harmonious. It is working together, and it's all for everyone. So individually, this will be good for you, as well as collectively. This is a moment in time where we can really take advantage of what's happening in the stars, as above, so below. And 4 degrees is, well, first of all, the number 4 in numerology is foundation. 4 is the 4 sides of the square, the 4 legs of a table. This is stability. This is the foundation of which we build upon. So this really feels like a jumping off point where, it's like, okay, this is the start of something. Well, actually, things have already started, but now it's like, okay, we are building this foundation and we feel stable on the table. We can truly make things happen. This is Also, 4 represents the material realm, which is the 3D. So I think like a lot of things have been happening in spirit, in the metaphysical, in the paraphysical, in the 5D, in the other realms. And now it is manifesting here in the 3D. And this is a time to really shape what that manifestation looks like. Okay. The 4th degree in astrology is also a degree of Cancer. And this is happening in the season of Cancer while the sun is in Cancer. And we're having a Mercury retrograde in Cancer, which is all about revision and revising and reflecting and determining, okay, while this foundation is happening, what do we want the future to look like? And because it's in Cancer, it's about nurturing and growth and watering the seeds, so to speak. So very, very exciting pivotal point in time. And the way that these trines and these sextiles set up, like I said, if you have a point in Sagittarius at the 4th degree, it will create this six-pointed star, which is the Star of David or the Seal of Solomon. And ultimately what it represents is the as above and so below. So it's 2 inverted triangles. So it's a triangle like this and a triangle like this. And complete coincidence that I wore these earrings today for this video. But so it's this inverted triangle and this regular triangle coming together and creating the 6-pointed star. So it's really the as above and the so below coming together and balancing between the heavens and the earth, and about manifestation and all of that kind of energy coming together. It's the elements coming together as well. So the alchemical symbols for the elements for fire and air are are upside triangles. And then for water and earth are the inverted triangles. And so it's about these elements really coming together and creating this magical mechanism. Okay. The 6-pointed star is also the foundation for the flower of life. It follows the same geometric pattern and frequency. And it's also the foundation for the Merkaba, the chariot of energy, it's called, which is 2 3D versions, three-dimensional versions of these triangles, which are essentially 8 triangular points all together in a wheel of triangles, and represents a chariot. And the chariot in tarot is a decision point where you have 2 roads that you can go down. And it really feels like humanity is at that decision point where there are 2 roads. But we know intuitively which road we want to go down. And that's the one towards total harmony and unification and spiritual oneness and the highest good of all. And so it feels like this Merkaba, this chariot, is being activated within humanity at this point, or at least the foundation of it. It's an opportunity for it to be activated, which will in turn activate our light bodies. So there's also this understanding that each human, our physical bodies contain a light Merkaba in our solar plexus areas that can be activated. And once that starts spinning, then our light body is completely activated and ready for the next phase of spiritual development. And so this can be a portal or an opportunity for that as well, for our individual Merkabas to be activated. And so pretty significant day. It's pretty exciting. I can see why a lot of the astrologers are talking about this. The outer planets have been shifting. Like, this has been the setup for this moment has been coming for a while. And Saturn and Neptune have been dancing together. having their conjunctions. They had their exact conjunction in Aries earlier this year, however, still dancing together in Aries. And Saturn is an interesting player in this whole mix as well. So on July 19th, around this date, Saturn will be in around 14 degrees of Aries, and we'll have Mars, which will also be at 14 degrees of Gemini. So bringing even more fire and air to the party. And Saturn and Mars are considered to be the malefics. They're like the bad guys of the zodiac, the bad energy planets. They bring disaster and conflict and things like that. But ultimately, they bring lessons for us to learn from and karma. And so I love these planets. But they are at 14 degrees, which would be a degree of Taurus, bringing in this Earth as well. So we have, these Cancer degrees and these Taurus degrees helping to ground all of this fire and air energy and to bring that balance between the spiritual and the material. So this is a very interesting day for all of these reasons, okay? However, what I think is perhaps even more significant, while I was doing some research about the astrology in 2030, because you may or may not have heard that the Large Hadron Collider at CERN has been shut down for maintenance and upgrades just at this full moon, this past full moon that in Capricorn that we just celebrated. And it has been shut down for the next 4 years. So will be reactivated in the year of 2030. And, people have been talking about this and I've been thinking about it and the significance around that. We know Agenda 2030 and all of those things have been out in the open for a while. But I really wanted to look at, okay, if CERN was shut down on the 29th of July during the full moon and the Mercury retrograde and Jupiter moving into Leo, like clearly there's an astrological significance to that. What would be the astrological significance of starting up again in 2030? So I started looking at a bunch of points. I was looking at the eclipses and the full moons and Saturn transits because Saturn rules time and all of these things. And what I discovered is that on 9th December 2030, during the full moon eclipse in the Gemini Sagittarius axis at 17 degrees, there is going to be another fire and air basket alignment, this time between Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, and Neptune. Okay. So we'll have Mars in Libra, Pluto in Aquarius, Neptune in Aries, and then Jupiter in Sagittarius. Okay. And this is all, these basket alignments, this is all happening at 10 degrees, which is in numerology, 10 is the end of the cycle. It's the start of the next cycle. This is an end and beginning. It's the 1 and the 0, the alpha and omega. This is a turning point and a timeline shift. And this is significant. If the basket this year is the foundation, building the foundation, and then the basket in 2030 is the end point. I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? What does that bring up for you? Also, 10 degrees in astrology is a Capricorn degree. And that is the Earth, and it is the opposite of Cancer. And this is going to be happening right before Capricorn season in 2030 in December. And okay, so I mentioned that this is all happening during a full moon eclipse, which the full moon eclipse peak will be at 17 degrees. However, earlier that day, the moon will also be at 10 degrees in Gemini, forming the 5th point of the basket of the trines and the sextiles, thus another opportunity for a Merkaba. This time, if you or anyone you know has planets or points at 10 degrees of Leo, that is what's going to create or fulfill the last point of the six-pointed star, the Seal of Solomon, the Star of David, the Merkaba, for that alignment in particular. And it really feels like these two baskets, the one this month, July 19th, and the one 4.5 years from now on December 9th, are connected. That's what came through to me. We are moving through a cycle. Clearly, the people at CERN, in my opinion, are aware of this cycle as well. Saturn will be retrograding at this point, and in 2030, the astrology is wild. Saturn has so many conjunctions with planets, oppositions with planets. We are seeing all of these things happening around the eclipses. So we have eclipses earlier in the year, around the May timeframe, June, sorry, I believe. Yeah, June. And then at the end of November and December and early December. And this is all in 2030. And there is a lot happening with Saturn in that year. And Saturn governs karma and time. And Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, which is the degree, the 10th degree, that these planets are going to be in during this basket at this full moon eclipse. So this feels super significant to me. And I believe what we need to be doing, what we need to be preparing for and setting the foundation for this month is for that next alignment. Well, next, but that next basket that's coming in December of 2030. And I happen to know someone who is very close to me who has a planet at 10 degrees in Leo. And so I'm going to be harnessing that and using that to my knowledge, or that knowledge to my benefit. And if you have any questions about this, if you have any thoughts or things that you want to talk about regarding this astrology, or what you've discovered, or any questions, anything, any messages that are coming through around this, I would love to hear it. Drop it in the comments. If this resonated or brought anything up, please like, share, subscribe, do the things. This is a new channel and it really helps. I'm still, I feel like, at the beginning of this research. I'm going to be looking into this more and more as we go. So expect more updates here. And July, this month, this year, is significant with this alignment that we have on the 19th. We have the new moon in Cancer on the 14th, which is a great time to set intentions and to plant seeds for the future. And then we also have the full moon in Aquarius coming up as well after we move into Leo season. So big month, exciting things coming. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Final thought on this. I don't think that there's going to be, like fire raining from the heavens on July 19th or anything as obvious, as overt as that. However, I would say really pay attention to your dreams, really pay attention to the messages that are coming through. I might do a reading on that day just to see, what's coming up in that present energy. But I would say use the energy to set a foundation in your life and in your family, in your community, and for the next 4 years at least. And that's my final thought. All right. So thank you so much for being with me here today on this one, and I'll see you in the next one.